Oh, good. I know, you did call. I just saw your,
Well, I
just
got
saw it. Sorry about that. We'll wait about 2 more minutes, let everybody get settled and get their iPads on. Just let me know if when everybody's ready. You ready? Okay, we'll go ahead and we will, I need a motion to open the public hearing. Motion by Jason,
Second.
second by Rocky, all in favor? 7-0. Is there anyone here that would like to provide public comment regarding the exceeding revenue neutral rate, tax rate? Seeing no hands, we will adjourn the public meeting. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Jason. Second by Renee, all in favor? 7-0. We will resume in 3 minutes probably, at 6:50. So we will open the public hearing. We'll need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Jason,
Second.
second by, will Eric have a turn? All in favor? 7-0. Is there anyone here who would like to provide public comment on the budget specifically? Seeing none, we will adjourn the public hearing. I need a motion. So moved. Motion by Renee.
Second.
Second by Eric. All in favor? 7-0. Start tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everybody. We'll just do roll call for people up here on the stage. Jeannie, we'll start with you.
Jason Schultz.
Lauren Tice Miller.
Tim Hallisey.
Erica Price.
Rocky Biznitz.
Rosa Cavazos. Renee Hansen.
Eric Deecher.
All right. Next, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. We'll also approve the minutes of the August 16th regular meeting, the August 25th special board meeting, and the minutes to the August 27th special board meeting. Move approval. Motion by Jason.
Second.
Second by Rocky. All in favor? 7-0. We'll move on to communications, comments and concerns from patrons. This is an opportunity for district patrons to address either topics directly relevant to the business of the district or items on the current board agenda. All comments must be directed to the president of the board or presiding officer. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to present ideas, opinions, and/or concerns. Public comment is a time in which you can share your concerns with the board. All comments must be directed to the board president. Because these are comments, we will not engage in any discussion. This is your time to be heard. I ask that you refrain from calling out or making commentary during and after each comment. First up, we'll have Christina Fleming.
Is this on? Yes, it is. Okay. Thank you, President Price and board and everyone who's listening. I just want to have a few comments about the meeting, the last meeting I came to when you had the Zoom with the doctors. So one of my main problems I had with that was that Dr. Cooley used the term misinformation to discuss anything beyond what the current narrative is that's being pushed by the mainstream media and by those who are just following along with this whole storyline. I have a problem in a place of education that someone uses the term misinformation to snuff out freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of ideas. This is a school. To my understanding, we don't teach the kids what to think. We teach them how to think, how to work their way through problems. I happen to know one of your junior high social studies teachers from Parents Reports. She's an excellent teacher, pays close attention to her students, and one of her favorite history subjects is the Holocaust. I strongly suggest that you guys maybe consider what kind of psychological warfare is being played on everyone right now and how it compares to the Holocaust. We're all here in masks. Where's our yellow stars? I think as an educational place, we need to be considering that, how this is very much about psychological manipulation. As far as math, I think that the statistics that were given are, by Dr. Locke, are given to cause fear in people and to control them. I suggest your math class does some statistics analysis. Go look at the VAERS reports, that is part of the CDC. Have them run some statistics. How many kids between the age of 5 and 18 who would be school children are actually expected to die from this? She used a number, 450 some or something like that. In Kansas, it's only, I think, 18. In 18 months, there's been 18 children. And however, all those people are important and it's damaging and concerning, that is not even as many die from the flu in a normal flu season. So in a place of education, I think that you're all allowing a very narrow thought process, and it really concerns me for students who go through here that they're not being taught how to do analysis. I have a doctorate degree. If I did this kind of information gathering and limitation, I would have never passed my project, okay? We had to get on college websites. We had to go through their library. We had to pull studies. We had to do the statistical analysis to see if the data was accurate, that we could trust the study or not. I think we're all just running by a lot of very unproven science. There's plenty of science. I work at a hospital. I know we have COVID patients, and I know that we're pretty full right now because I heard a discussion about it today at work. However, as a place of education, I really think more thought needs to be given to truth and honesty, transparency, and a real educational process with data and with evidence. And I give up the rest of my time. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Tim Watts.
Good evening. Thank you to all the teachers, staff, and students for a great start to the year. After the last school board meeting, I was contacted by a few dozen Shawnee Heights parents, teachers, and students who were completely taken off guard at how the meeting was handled and the mask mandate was rolled out with less than 12 hours before school started. I had five people tell me that they felt like the school board ambushed the district and once again overrode the suggestions of our superintendent. For us to be successful, we must find a way to work together. And parents, students, and staff must be given an opportunity to express their thoughts, not just a few doctors and a few groups on the school board. Having a group of doctors come talk to the community and answer all of our questions would have been a great step in how we could find a way to get through these challenging times in a united front. If this would have been communicated proactively, we could have submitted questions to our school board members who represent us, and they could have asked the doctors a set number of community questions. I would like to propose a scenario like this for our October 18th board meeting. Allow parents, teachers, and students the opportunity to submit questions to the board that can be asked to the doctors, or allow us to bring doctors to present on behalf of our side of this. We also need to do some surveys of the parents, teachers, and staff. You should understand how they feel about your mitigation plan, quarantine, test to play, test to learn, and mask policy. Regardless of if you're willing to listen to them or take any action into consideration, you should at least know what your constituents want. Also, the school board could institute home rule, which would allow us to focus our teachers on teaching and let parents parent. There's no need to turn our teachers and staff into mask police. To leave on a positive note, I wanted to share some advice from a staff member in the district. I think this person did an excellent job of describing a foundation of balanced, healthy lifestyle. Exercise. Eat real food. Drink a lot of water. Breathe fresh air without one of these. Get sunshine. Take vitamins. Practice breath work. Walk on the grass barefoot and connect with nature. Read, meditate, laugh, be with loved ones, listen to music you love, practice gratitude daily, sleep well, find things that challenge you and do them, ask God into all of it. Do these things consistently and not based on emotion. Thank you, the Watts family.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to action items, business by consent. Need a motion to approve? Motion by Jason,
Second.
second by Rocky, all in favor? 7-0. We're going to move on to approve resolution to exceed revenue neutral rate.
Thank you. So the revenue neutral rate is new this year. It really wasn't meant for school districts. They weren't originally part of this bill. It was schools were added in later, as were public libraries. It was part of Senate Bill 13, which was to replace the current tax lid for local cities, municipalities that they were required to operate under. It wasn't meant for schools because schools already have lids on their taxing funds, the four of them. They already have limits on that. We were just added in later. So we're going through it this year. The revenue neutral rate for Shawnee Heights is 50.89 mils. Our proposed budget for the 21-22 school year requires 51.8 mils, meaning we will exceed the revenue by just a little less than 10 points of a mil. We've published our notice to hear the revenue neutral rate and exceed that. And so if we want to do that, we have to pass it by resolution tonight. And President Price has the resolution.
Resolution number 2021-09. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Resolution number 2021-09, a resolution expressing the property taxation policy of Shawnee Heights USD 450 with respect to exceeding the revenue neutral tax rate for financing the annual budget for 2021-2022. Whereas 2021 SB 13 and Senate Sub for House Bill 2104 provides that a levy of property taxes to finance the 2021-2022 budget of the USD 450 exceeds the revenue neutral tax rate to finance the 2021-2022 budget of USD 450 be authorized by a resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved by USD 450 that the 2021-2022 budget with a levy of property taxes exceeding the revenue neutral tax rate calculated for 2021-2022 as adjusted pursuant to 2021 SB 13 and Senate Sub for House Bill 2104 is hereby adopted for the following funds: General Fund, Capital Outlay Fund, Supplemental General Fund, LOB, and Bond and Interest Fund. Adopted this 7th day of September 2021 by Shawnee Heights USD 450 in Shawnee County, Kansas. Do you need that? What do we need to do now? Just a motion?
Yes.
All right. We need a motion to approve? Motion by Jason? Second by Eric. All in favor? 7-0. All right, we'll move on to approve the 2021-2022 budget.
We did a lot of work to put together the budget for this year. When we look at it, our 4 taxing funds, we always like to try and keep our mill levy as close as possible. So the 4 main funds that make up the Shawnee Heights budget are the general fund, supplemental general, capital outlay, and bond and interest. In our capital, the cap for the general fund across the state is set at 20 mils. And so everybody charges 20 mils across the board. We will do the same. Our general fund budget this year is $26,520,000. Our supplemental general mill levy, and that varies a little bit depending on tax collections from year to year. This year, it'll be 15.76 mils, and that creates a budget of $8,707,000. Our cap outlay is set at 8 mils. That 8 mils will establish a budget of $3,485,000. One of the things that is particular to the cap outlay mill levy is it usually over collects. So while we have approval for 8 mils, it'll more likely come in at 7.7, somewhere around there. So your mill levy will actually drop even more on that because it'll over collect. The last part of the budget is the bond and interest. Our bond and interest mill levy this year to make our bond payments is just over 8 mils, 8.03. And that total mill levy will be 51.802. Again, that's lower than last year's, and we expect that to drop a little bit as the cap outlay mill over collects, and we're able to drop that some. So that's our total budget. It's a constitutional budget in line with our expected weightings and enrollment, and we recommend approval.
Need a motion to approve, or does anyone have any questions?
I move approval.
Okay, motion by Renee. Second by Jason, all in favor? 7-0. We'll move on to approve 2021-2022 board goals.
We did goal setting last week and had some good discussions on that. Our goals are really well written, very broad, and they apply to all the different areas that the district has identified as important and critical moving forward with students. And so we didn't want to make a lot of change with those. We talked about having a long-term view with our goals, tying them into a strategic plan, especially as it relays to the future bond issues as we look down the road and start to make those plans over the next 4 years to 5 years. And so we'll be doing a lot of work on that. The goals are very well written, represent us well, and allow us all to move forward as a district and individual buildings and departments. So we recommend approval formally tonight.
Move approval.
Motion by Lauren. Second by Eric, all in favor? 7-0. We'll move on to approve KDHE grant for COVID testing. I should just leave that on. Approve KDHE grant for COVID testing. Sorry about that.
We finally have approval from KDHE for our grant. The grant brings in a little over $400,000. We are working through that right now. There are still several pieces of it that we want to put in place. The hiring of some additional staff to take off some of the burden our nursing staff has undertaken for that. Also with testing, working to get testing supplies. Some of those are not readily available at this time to all the districts, so we're all working through that. And right now we are relying a little bit on, well, actually quite a bit on the Shawnee County testing sites because they do have access to those tests. So we need to formally approve the grant that we've been approved for, and so we can start accepting those dollars and resources.
The additional nursing staff, will they be just for the purpose of administering the tests, or will they also be able to assist with contact tracing and other items in the district?
Good question, Lauren. We anticipate that they will take most of the burden for testing, but then also help with contact tracing on that. Because and then the communication involved with that.
Any other questions?
I would move approval.
Okay, motion by Lauren. Second by Jason, all in favor? 7-0. We'll move on to status of the district. And Mr. Hallisey, you want to start it off?
Yeah, sure. So Thursday night, September 9th, out here at 6 p.m. In the High School Commons, we are having the Kansas Can Success Tour. It is the final stop of a 50-city tour that Department of Education has been doing. It is a follow-up to the 2015 Kansas Success Tour that they did that originally helped them establish a lot of the goals that districts across the state are working under. And so this is going to be a renewal of that. They're going to share a lot of data with us, things that they are learning from the students, things that employers need from our students, things that our students need to be prepared for both workforce and college ready as we move forward with that. There's a registration link on our website, and we would hope and encourage everybody who's interested to come out and spend, it'll be about 90 minutes is all that'll take. And it should be a good exchange with Dr. Watson and Dr. Nguyen-Swander on Thursday evening, and hope you guys can make that. When we look at our district numbers right now for total number of students for quarantines, right now we're at 70 for quarantines. We have 18 students possible across the district. Those numbers are relatively modest. As we work through the surge, we expect those to grow a little bit after the Labor Day weekend, but again, we've hopefully started to plateau a little bit like we've seen in some of our numbers, bless you, and across the community numbers. So we look at that. We have 6 positive staff and 4 staff under quarantine right now. So overall, those numbers are not too bad, and we're happy with those. The mitigation strategies are working pretty well. People are doing a good job with that. And so we'll keep doing the best we can with that. As we mentioned earlier, we are relying on testing locations that the county has set up. That has helped out a lot. They have access to that, and especially with the rapid PCR test, they can quickly give those. They've added staff and added additional testing to reduce the waits there, and that's helped out some too. So we do have some of our high school students taking advantage of that, and that's allowing them to stay in school and keep participating in activities, and so far that's worked really well. And so we plan on continuing that until we're able to build the capacity to either do it internally or it just becomes permanent in that partnership with the county. So that's kind of where we're at on our COVID numbers and what that looks like today. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
I have a question on the first thing. Is that going to be online anywhere?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
don't think we'll
I'm going to
see-
be out of town, so
Yeah,
unfortunately I won't be able to come.
yeah, we weren't planning on streaming that. So.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to Mr.
Just give you a little more information on the KDHE grant. Don't know how familiar you are with Test to Learn, Test to Play, but basically if you're in close contact in school and you're needing to quarantine, it's a morning test every morning for either 10 days, or they'll reduce that down to 8 days if you get a PCR test at day 6. But all those kids that want to do that have to test every single day. So that's the main reason we're looking at this grant, is to try to find a way to do that. Our nurses are really busy right now, and they just don't have the time to do that and do the things they need to do. So this grant will let us purchase some or hire some employees for that. Initially, what we're thinking about doing is doing one site. We were initially going to do, like, every building have a testing place, but I think what we'll probably do is a drive-by testing out back of the high school. They can drive up, they can get their test, and then go park until we have the results, and that'll help. It'll, number one, keep them out of the building and things like that, and maybe it'll work well. So we'll have to work out logistics on that. Right now, we've got applications coming in for nurses. If I can free Tammy Beaver up sometime this week, we're going to try to interview a few of those and get somebody hired and get that going. Those tests that we give are the quick antigen tests, and so they can be done in about 15 minutes. They are a nose swab, but not the one that goes clear up your nose. It's just a general nose swab they have to do. So hopefully that'll work well, and we can get kids quickly in the building. We'll start that early in the morning and then get them moving through. But we got to get a couple people hired and get people trained and move through that. The other thing I just wanted to, I did send an email out, but I wanted to let everybody know, Roseanne Gish, a former journalism teacher, did pass away this week. Just a great teacher in our district. And a few weeks back, Jack Waugh, former principal in our district, passed away. So just keep them in your thoughts. Both great people and good people for our district. So thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Blair Anderson.
Can I ask Mr. Hirsch a question real
Yes,
quick?
of course.
With the high school students coming to take the test, do parents need to be present or fill out a consent form?
There'll be a consent form, and so as long as they have that, they can get tested without you
Okay.
being there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, Blair? Then after Blair, we'll have Mr. Hofstra.
Just two thank yous tonight. One to Rob Smith and Joe Green of SciTech. They've been out on site this past week working with us to get this new sound system into the auditorium sound system. So that's all connected. We're ready to use that system about anywhere that it needs to be used at. So that's kind of a good thing. So we appreciate their help. And then also a thank to Chief Rick Dybert of Shawnee Heights Fire District. He was on site today for the inspection of the suppression system in the data center. It was very beneficial for him to see that room and all the equipment that's in it, and if there would be an emergency, how they would attack that fire in there. Hopefully we'd never experience that. But anyway, Just a huge thank you for all they do to keep our staff and students safe, and the whole community. Questions? Thank you.
And then after Mr. Hofstra, we'll have Ms. Giebler.
Hello, everybody. Just a real quick update on 2 ongoing projects. The latest from our legal counsel on the auditorium lawsuit. I have the privilege of going in next Tuesday, the 14th, to give a deposition for the opposing side. Then our side, the good guys, get to depose Carpio Masonry on the 16th, and then Murray Construction and their 3 experts the last 3 days in October. So after that, who knows? This is going to just keep dragging on. But I wanted to give you an update on it, let you know we're still continue to working on it. Another update, this is the latest from PEC Engineering on our stormwater project on the south end of campus. It's a approved capital outlay project. It looks like they're going to put the bid out, or the project out to bid probably next Monday. The bid opening is tentatively scheduled for October 10th or October 13th, going to the board on that 18th date, and then a pre-construction meeting on the 25th, and then start work November 1st and hopefully get it wrapped up before Christmas. And of course, all that is weather dependent. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how that goes. Any questions? All right, thank you.
All right. And after Ms. Giebler, we'll have Ms. Bell.
Good evening. I just wanted to report that I've been meeting with teachers and some of our reading interventionists that we hired through ESSER funds this past year, and things are going well. They are working with kids. We were able to purchase a lot of Wilson materials and other materials, plus the curriculum that we purchased through the work from the ELA reading committee. And those materials are really giving them some good tools with which to work and make a difference for kids and really individualize. So things have gotten off to a really great start, and it's just been good to see that everybody's excited to use these. So I'll be bringing you some data here in the next month or so when we do get some. One little fun caveat, we've noticed that the elementary, especially the primary children who were remote last year, are very good advocates for themselves. And you can just take that as you can imagine it. They are really, really independent. So that's all. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. And after Ms. Bell, we'll have Ms. Tiffany Gidge.
Good evening. One of the things I've been working on is closely working with FastBridge, our vendor for our assessment model that replaced MAP, and the IT department. One of the things we learned in the pandemic is all of these different products had different logins and places to go, and so the IT department found ClassLink, which is an option for them to go to one place and log in, and the credentials are all in there, so they don't have to know a bunch of different credentials. And that was feedback we got quite a bit all throughout last year. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to start the FastBridge assessments the week of the 13th. And then, as Mrs. Giebler says, we'll be able to monitor the kids' progress from that specific assessment in reading and math. So we'll be getting that going really quickly here. Also, we've been working on social studies. The State Department changed the social studies state assessment. It's a classroom-based assessment. Our 4th graders, our 7th graders, and our 11th grade students will all be taking that assessment this year, and it is developed by our teachers. So instructional coach Shannon O'Connor will be working with all of those teachers involved in the end of September on our in-service day in the afternoon, so they can look at current assessments and tweak them if need be, or rewrite new ones to fit that. And then the cool thing is that we get to do them whenever they fit. We don't have to just stop and take a test that day. It comes up when the end of the unit is done and they're showing what they learned in their classroom. So we're excited to get them going on that. And other than that, we've been working on our ELA or ELL population, our English learners. And so all of that gets identified and plans are written and parents are meeting with our teachers to determine accommodations. And we roll all that in before September 20th. So that's what I've been working on. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. And then after Ms. Kinch, we'll have Ms. Burvert.
Hello. I think it was last week. I don't know, all my weeks are running together, but we finished launching Remind. If you don't know what Remind is, it's a communication platform where parents, teachers, and students can all send text messages, in-app notifications, emails, all without sharing their personal contact information. So this is an additional communication tool provided to teachers. They don't have to use this tool, but we are asking that they use a district-provided communication tool in an effort to kind of streamline all of these communication tools for parents and students, so there's not a billion logins for a billion different things for every school. We have a few bugs still to work out for this, but not very many have come up, so I'm hopeful we can work those out. But I want to give a big shout out to Carla Murray and Chris Hathaway for working on all that data and helping me launch that product. Is there any questions for me?
Thank you. After Ms. Burvert, we'll have Mr. Dial.
Good evening. So since I saw all of you, we've started a successful new school year, and it already kind of feels like we've gotten into a good routine, and just it's already here. We're already into it, and it's been a good start. The first day of school was unlike any I've ever had. We had airmen from the United States Air Force there to represent Sergeant Wesley Kuby and to welcome Jackson, his son, into our Barryton family. That was very special, and just a very emotional but just tender moment for all of our staff. So that was really exciting. We've got 2 new classroom teachers, Mr. Clausen and Ms. Bautista. They're doing a great job just incorporating all of our quantum learning components and just nicely sliding right in. So we're excited to have them here. On August 24th, we also had what we call KinPin, which is really our incoming kindergartners as well as our incoming preschool students. And PTO had a really nice meal for all of these families, and then some lovely PTO ladies and I watched all of the children, about 60 of them, while the parents went to the rooms. It was fun. We had a blast, and the parents learned some good information about Barryton. This month, we are going to start our book study, and we're going to be reading Big Potential by Shawnee. It's something we actually used as an administrative team a couple of years ago. We've got over 40 staff members who are going to participate, so we're excited to just get to reading and learning together. And finally, it's not September without a Barryton School Carnival. So our carnival is scheduled for Saturday, September 25th from 4 to 7. Our PTO is really getting creative and working hard to still make it a successful event, even despite all of the challenges of this year. Any questions I can answer? Thank you.
Thank you. After Mr. Dial, we'll have Ms. Bivens.
Good evening. Like Barryton, good start to the school year. It feels good to have student programs again. So like our Stings Community Cares group, that's our 6th grade leadership, where every 6th grader gets to participate in leadership training and do volunteer work for the school and the community. We were able to start that up a couple weeks ago. Our bank board, so the Call Valley Bank has a partnership with us, so we have our own bank, Tecumseh South All-American Bank, and we have a bank board of six 6th graders who all apply to be on the bank board and then help run the bank. And then when we have little fundraisers and so forth, our bank board members help run that. And then this morning and this afternoon, we had our intramural softball outside, so it was good to see the kids playing and enjoying that. So we're working through COVID. I like to say we respect COVID, and we're doing all the mitigations to help, but we are having school as well and having our student programs going on too. So any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then after Ms. Bivens, we'll have Ms. Hummer.
All right, good evening. Happy Tecumseh North Tuesday to you all. Every Tuesday we celebrate our school spirit and our pride. Tonight I happen to be able to see you on a Tuesday. Don't normally see you on Tuesdays. So happy Tecumseh North Tuesday to you. We are rocking and rolling at Tecumseh North, just like the other two. We're off to a great start. It's really great to have kids back in the building full time, our staff there, everything's just been going really, really well. Not this Friday, but the Friday before, we had a PTO event, so shout out to my wonderful PTO. We had it was called Splish Splash Water Bash. And we were supposed to have a dance, which would have been inside, but because of that, we decided to move it outside, and it was just a really great event. Sold over 6,000 water balloons, and it was nice just to see families together. We continue to work on being an avid elementary and implementing WICR, which stands for Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading, into our English language arts lessons. And continue to move through the school year like normal, whatever that means at this point. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And then after Ms. Hummer, we'll have Mr. Urick.
Good evening, everyone. We're off and rolling at Shez. Since our last time that we met, our Shez PTO hosted a back-to-school barbecue where we served just over 150 hot dogs. Families got together. They were able to connect and enjoy outdoors during this event. So thank you to our Shez PTO. Fall Fast Bridge assessments will be underway soon. That rollout, I guess, didn't go as planned, yet the great news is our teachers are really wanting that data to be able to make instructional choices for students. So we are excited to get that off the ground and running, and we'll be utilizing those assessments soon. Our recent sneak peek with Parent Information Night yielded about 86% participation. We had 397 out of 464 in attendance. We had a follow-up question and answer Zoom session for each classroom. Those were not highly attended. So we're going to reassess the needs for next school year, including some parent feedback to see if that is still a continued need for our building. Let's see, September looks like a great month. We have Picture Day coming. We have our fall spirit wear sales happening. And guess what? We had over 172 very talented Shez artists that submitted artwork to be a part of our spirit wear. So we've had to narrow that down a lot, but one of those students will have their artwork featured on our fall spirit wear. So we're excited about that. It'll be hitting the sales soon. Our PTO is meeting tonight, but they are discussing an outdoor movie event for September 18th, so hopefully we can make that happen. We have professional development on September 27th, and our focus will be social emotional learning, relationships, de-escalation strategies, and hopefully using some of that Fast Bridge data to make some student groups and instructional choices for reading and math. And I just wanted to send a big shout out to our Shez teachers and our Shez staff for their focus on building strong relationships with both students and families. That's really the foundation for all of the work that we do. And it's very intentional and it doesn't go unnoticed. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to them. And as I'm bragging about them, we too kicked off a book study, and we are reading Be Real, Educate from the Heart by Tara Martin. And that stands for being relatable, exposing vulnerability, being approachable, and learning through life. So we'll be incorporating these book study conversations during our staff meetings that we have, but really we're challenging ourselves to use those qualities and also empowering those around us to use them as well. So with that said, might there be any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Then after Mr. Urich, last but not least, will be Mr. West.
Good evening, board members. My name is Tim Urich. I'm the middle school principal. It has been wonderful to start the school year in 5-day session. I can't tell you how much better it is to have all the kids in session so that we can work on classroom rules, procedures, and team building and relationship building and technology training. Do you remember how it was when half the students weren't at school for the first few days and they had their iPads and they had to learn how to Zoom or use Teams and log into Canvas? Well, now all that is underneath the guidance and instruction of our teachers. It's fantastic. We have solidly transitioned into academics and instruction at the middle school, and things are in full swing. It's been a wonderful year so far. 200 young athletes are participating in fall sports. The fall sports are volleyball with teams in the 7th and 8th grade. Of course, there's dance and cheer to participate in, and then football and cross country. So there's something for everybody, and more than a third of the kids are participating, which is very nice. Laura Nichols has been invested as the new athletics director, and she's doing a wonderful job, very organized, very detail-oriented. One thing I value about Ms. Nichols is she has no preconceived notions about barriers. So she's very excited about starting new sports at the middle school, and she's talking about bowling. You might have seen in Mr. Hollis's notes that we're going to send out a bowling survey. 33 respondents responded to that survey, and they are excited about bowling. To give you some information about that, 70% of the respondents don't have any bowling experience, 30% do. So 30% of the students have been coached and provided instruction. They own all the stuff, the bowling bag, the ball, and the shoes, and they're ready to go. So that would be exciting for our students. The bowling season in Kansas is a winter sport. It starts after the holiday break and goes through March-ish. I wanted just to talk a second about the quarantine framework. And the reason I'm going to talk about this for a second is because we have to make calls sometimes to parents as we assist Shawnee County with the contact tracing. And what I want everyone to know is that we operate underneath the quarantine framework and the quarantine exclusions given to us by the Shawnee County Health Authority. And there are certain ways to not quarantine, and those are that a close contact occurred outside, that both people were masked, that the contact individual has been fully vaccinated, and that the contact individual had physician-documented COVID within the last 6 months. Those are kind of your get-out-of-jail-free cards when it comes to quarantines. Quarantines have been fairly light at the middle school. On any given day, there's about 10 to 13 students who are in COVID isolation or quarantine. The quarantines primarily come from household contacts or social contacts outside of the school community. Quarantines are unfortunate, but you know, it's one of the things we do to make sure that the school stays open. And then if I could say anything to parents about it, it would be this. The best way to keep the school open is to have good contact with your school's front office. So if your student is ill, keep them home. If you believe there might be COVID in your household, then go get a PCR test and report the results to your school. We won't be punitive with attendance policies while you're doing that. We just appreciate good communication. Do you have any questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. West.
I'd also like to pass along public kudos to the high school staff. They've been working extremely hard, no matter what level or what organizational piece they fit into in terms of our overall structure. Especially tonight, our school nurses, Vicki Dressler and Jennifer Schultz, and of course Tammy Beaver from the district-wide perspective have worked, I'd say tirelessly, but I know they're tired, but they're still working anyway. Hard to do all the things that they did beforehand, which was certainly a full-time job on top of the work that they're doing regarding COVID and quarantining and getting letters and notifying parents and doing some good communication skills. So thanks to them very much for that publicly, and again to the rest of the staff. Going to read just a couple of emails or letters. The first one is from Cody Whitney, our activities director and assistant principal. This was sent out to a variety of people. It said, at the Shawnee Heights Jamboree, which was 2 Fridays ago, featuring Seaman, Topeka West, and Washburn Rural, and us, of course, we collected over 2,000 pounds of food and in excess of $300. All of this was donated to harvesters and provided more than 2,600 meals to Topeka and Shawnee County families in need. So in lieu of charging a gate for the Jamboree for the second year in a row, which is the entire time that the Jamboree has been in existence, we've done the food donation or just monetary donations as well. I think that probably tripled last year's effort, and so it was well received. And if you were a part of that, it was an exciting place to be. The Jamboree was. I was over in the freshman field, and it was packed with people, and everybody had a good time. And I know there were some good things happening on the varsity field as well. And of course, last Friday night we opened up the regular season and had a nice crowd, and so lots of normal-looking activities. It was fun. The second letter is from the Kansas State High School Activities Association, and actually this was a surprise, and I just got it today. It says in 2018, the Activities Association created a Performing Arts School of Excellence Award, which is modeled from the National Federation of High School National Award. The award is a way to celebrate the performing arts through the tremendous work of our school districts, high schools, performing arts departments, directors, coaches, sponsors, parents, and of course our wonderful students. Congratulations, your high school has been chosen as one of 36 high schools in Kansas to receive the recognition as a 2021 Performing Arts School of Excellence by the High School Activities Association. The association reached out to the Kansas Music Educators, the Kansas Speech Communication, the Kansas Thespians, and a committee of 2 members of leadership from each association, plus the KSHA staff, met in July to discuss numerous high schools that scored exceptionally high in debate, speech, music, and theater during the 2021-22 school year. After deliberation, the committee and the Activities Association chose 1 winner, 5 finalists, and 30 commended schools across our great state. All 36 schools are being recognized with the enclosed activities certificate. And again, we were one of the schools that received a commended award from KSHA. So we're really pleased with that, proud of that. It's just one sign that our staff and our students are doing some good things with some community support and your support as well. There's about 450 high schools in the state of Kansas, and so we're placed among the top 10%, if you would look at it as some sort of a measuring stick. No doubt to any of us, but it's always fun when people from the outside also applaud the good work that's being done. So thank you very much for your continued support. Any questions?
Nope. Thank you, everybody, for being here and sharing some good news tonight. It was nice. Comments and concerns from board members?
Rosa?
Just a question. A couple of years ago, we started the Superintendent Student Council, and we're in September, and so I'm hoping that will kick up again this year. So just wanted to send a reminder about trying to get those nominations and applications online or wherever we need to, so that we can start that up with the students again. I think it'd be great, especially with Mr. Hallisey being new and all the changes that have happened in the past 2 years and everything that our students have gone through. It would be nice for them to be able to have a voice to meet with our superintendent and our principal. I did also want to say happy birthday to Mrs. Hummer's daughter, and she left. So please tell her happy birthday. I saw her pictures.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just, I learned of Ms. Gish's passing the other day, and it made me reflect on how I am a product of this district and how unbelievably proud I am of that. Ms. Gish especially had an amazing impact on me. She's the reason I didn't graduate at semester, because I stuck around to have another semester in her class, and I think I spent nearly my entire senior year in her classroom. but she taught me, along with a number of other amazing teachers in this district, critical thinking skills and how to ask more questions to go deeper into a subject. And I know I wasn't the only student who gleaned that from this. And I have carried that with me even through college. You know, my master's degree, I took research methods. And so, you know, all of my critical thinking and the investigative skills from the investigative journalism skills and all of that, it just made me take a minute this weekend to really reflect on how much of a foundation this district created for me. And I know that we are continuing to do that, and especially with the district goals that we just adopted, that we all very much value critical thinking and being adaptive and being inclusive. And more than anything, over the past 2 years, or year and a half, almost 2 years, feels like it's been longer than that with COVID, but we're also seeing just how resilient our students are. And so I just wanted to take a moment to say how proud I am of this district and to be a product of this district and to be serving up here on the board. And I will always remember Miss Gish. So the other thing I wanted to mention is there's an essay contest right now being hosted by the State Treasurer's Office. It's for students in grades 5 through 12. Very short, 2 questions to answer, and we are giving away 16 $529 scholarships. So you can learn more on our website.
Nice. Thank you. That was very nice, Lauren. Anybody else?
Well, in the spirit of that message that you mentioned, Lauren, I also am a product of this district, and Mr. Wall was my 7th grade teacher, and he became a 9th grade counselor, and my dad and him refereed together, and so his passing was difficult for me, but I just want to express how much I appreciate the education that this district has given my family, including my own children. So,
Anybody else? All right. We're going to move on to executive session. We now move to recess into executive session to discuss a personnel matter and consult with our attorney. The purpose is to protect the privacy of the individuals involved and to consult with our legal counsel and protect the attorney-client privilege. We will return back. 8:30? 8:45? 8:40. Split it. I need a second?
Second.
Everybody said that at the same time.
I got my hand up first.
Motion by Erica, second by Renee. All in favor? 7-0. Mr. Hirsch and our attorney, please.
Pay no attention to the board.
Okay, I think all we need is a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Jason. Second by Rosa. Renee, all in favor? 7-0.